Well, Husk, maybe just I think we've talked off and on a little bit, but a couple of good practices at home. How does that kind of set you up here for tonight? But maybe just what you were able to work on over the last couple of days.
It's a lot of the same for us. We're trying to build some habits and a little bit more predictability into our game. And I thought we had two good skates, and I think our guys are in a good place today, and I know they're looking forward to tonight.
In terms of those habits, I mean, is that come in the form of consistency too, or is that the hope that those habits kind of then lead into more consistent 60-minute games?
Absolutely. I mean, there's been stretches in all these games during this tough stretch that we've been in here. There's stretches where we've played really well, and there's been stretches where we have to eliminate from our game. So that's a big part of it. And I think if you can be a little bit more predictable to your teammates, consistency will follow shortly thereafter.
You've had some changes, situations have come up on the back end, just changing pairs around. Obviously, some guys have been available, whatever it might be. But what have you made of the way that they've sort of handled that and what you're getting out of your blue line right now?
Yeah, I think they've handled it well. I mean, things you can't control, whereas a suspension, those are situations where you just have to kind of next man up mentality, I guess is the way you'd probably look at it. But I think with the guys on our back end are all pros. They understand there's going to be different situations where they might not have the same partner like they have had in prior years. But ideally, we're going to build some more consistency. We feel like we have a good back end. We feel like they're guys that can all move the puck. I think they're all competitive guys. And right now is an opportunity for everybody to raise their level collectively. And we need to make sure that we're doing that tonight. And oftentimes that'll start with your goaltending and back end.
Not to pick on one guy specifically, but Mackenzie, I think the points jump out obviously, but there's been some big minutes there and some important minutes. I mean, what have you made of what Mackenzie's given you here recently?
His play has steadily been going in the right direction. He seems like he's a lot more composed right now with the way he's playing the game, and things are coming a little bit more naturally to him than they were at the beginning portion of the year, where I thought maybe he was forcing things a little bit too much. Right now he's just playing, and he's letting the game come to him, and I think he's feeling pretty good about where he's at right now too as an individual.
I'll let somebody else get in here in just a moment, but when we look at Pacific Division, obviously Edmonton is the only one in division so far. We're 10 games in. How crucial are these contests when you get an opportunity to play in your own division?
Yeah, they always are. Parks, they always are, but I think the most important thing that we alluded to a little bit yesterday was it's still really about us finding our game and finding our consistency. And I think once we get that, you can put a little bit more priority on divisional opponent or non-conference opponent, whatever the case may be. But right now it's about making sure we're at our best and doing everything we can to make sure we're successful.
Anything you can share lineup-wise? Martin getting in for his first? Sorry? Martin for his first?
He will be playing tonight, yes.
Obviously some juice there, I would assume, too, from the same thing.
Bigger guy, skates well. He's got a good skill set, and there's going to be another level of energy that's going to be brought by him tonight.
Switching subjects a little bit, of course, it's been a week to the day since what happened with Adam Johnson. As a coach, what has sort of been the discussion, not only with your players and your staff, but just within the org about the conversation around net guards, given that it is such a hot topic at the moment?
Yeah. Speaking on our organization, it's something that we've kind of made priority of providing some of the great equipment that's already out there in regards to the cut guards guys wear on their wrists, the Kevlar socks that they wear under their gear. So that stuff's all available for our players, as are the neck guards. And you see some guys looking at them, wearing them, seeing what they feel like. And I think it's something that's going to continue to go forward. So our job is to make sure we provide them with everything we need, and then they have to make an educated decision from that point. But I do see it becoming much more prevalent with guys wearing more and more of that protective gear moving forward.
And when you're discussing things like player safety with players specifically, I mean, how easy or difficult a conversation is that? Because there are some players you talked to this week and they just said, hey, look, like thinking about that, you don't want to think about it, it's reality, but it is a very difficult thing to talk about because it is life and death. Like, have you found that to be a similar experience, or how have players been when you've brought it up?
No, I don't want to say it's a risk. It's not even looking at it that way. I think it's more about the players a lot of time are all about comfort, and it takes them a little while to get used to trying something new. They're creatures of habit. But oftentimes, once they get to it and realize it doesn't change anything about them, you see the change get made. Like we have a lot of our players that have had our equipment managers stitch Kevlar type patches into certain portions of their equipment, because those are areas where sometimes you see skate cuts happening a little bit more often. So they already take those steps along the way. It's just, as I mentioned, I think a matter of time and guys getting a little bit more used to wearing stuff like that.